This is no ordinary moment. This is the turning point in history where India has given a clear message to the US. If friendship cannot be based on equality, then we do not need you. The US, which was India's largest trading partner until yesterday, is imposing new tariffs against it today, thinking that India will bow down. No, sir, this is the new India. This India is not one that silently submits. This India responds with a wink. Trump imposed a 25% tariff on India. The reason India's purchase of oil from Russia, purchase of weapons, showing independence. But what did India do? Neither apologized nor tried to bend. Instead, it said we will buy oil from where we can get it cheaply and in our own interest. This was not an emotional decision. It was wisdom, self-restraint, national interest. His relations with Russia are not just about friendship. It is a strategic investment. India told America that we are not an indebted nation. We are the nation that has the 5th largest economy in the world, which reaches the moon in space and silences enemies on earth at the diplomatic table. And then China, which we had border disputes, but India maintained a balance there too. Where necessary, we traded wool. Where there was a question of restraint, we showed a red eye. Today, India is doing 65 billion in trade with Russia, 127 billion with China, and 131 billion with America. But the difference is now decisions are not made from the White House, but from Rajpath in Delhi. This is the era of new diplomacy, where India is neither in anyone's camp nor in anyone's pocket. We are neither part of NATO nor a puppet of China. We are only in India's camp. This is the journey of Vishwaguru, where India is telling the whole world we want is not slavery and friends. What does this moment teach you? That when you recognize your worth, when you stand up for your interests, then the world tries not to bend you, but to talk today. India has normally taught this lesson to the nations of the world, but has given the student, every youth student, every conscious, listen, in the world is given less person. Respect is never asked for, respect is earned. So stand up, think and promise yourself that just as India has not compromised on its sovereignty, you too will not trade your thinking, yourself, your dreams. Because a nation that bows its head, its economy also bows, its language also, and its future also. But a nation that stands up and says, we are no less than anyone, then even the great powers of the world look at its feet. This is the new India. This is the decision of India, and this is the direction of the coming tomorrow. Because India is showing you in real time that when you walk with integrity, when you walk with vision, the world follows your footsteps. And that's not just a diplomatic shift. It's a cultural revolution. It's a psychological awakening. The old mindset that said, let's wait for Western approval, has now transformed into a new voice that says we define our own success. That's why when international headlines question India's decisions, India doesn't rush to explain. We let results speak. We let numbers speak. We let our quiet confidence shake the noisy arrogance of others. And those results is a digital economy that's empowering 1 billion people. A unified payments interface that the world now wants to copy. Here's a space mission that reaches the moon's dark side. Not to show off, but to show what's possible when ambition meets focus. This is not about nationalism. This is about self-belief. This is about breaking the chains of intellectual slavery and reminding the world. See, India doesn't need validation. It needs space to grow. And when that space is given, India doesn't just rise, it lifts others. Look at the global south. When others abandoned them in times of crisis, India extended its hand. Not because we had excesses, but because we had empathy. This is Indian diplomacy today, based not on pressure, but on partnership. We don't interfere in internal matters. We don't dictate how others must live. We ask only one thing, mutual respect. And when that respect is denied, India knows how to respond with silence more powerful than noise. Because we don't chase headlines, we chase outcomes today. When Western institutions issue biased reports on our democracy, we don't collapse, we counter them with democratic action, with record voices speaking. At the ballot box democracy, India is not a religious habit. The surveillance involved, its ruler is never involved. Not war. Or not. Geopolitical alliances are shifting. His new wars are starting. Old empires are cracking. But India stands tall. Not because we are perfect, but because we are grounded. He's grounded in our history, rooted in our diversity, anchored in our values. When others pick sides between West and East, India picks stability. His India picks dialogue. India picks peace. But not peace at the cost of self-respect. That's why we buy oil from Russia. That's why we trade with China while guarding our borders fiercely. That's why we talk to the US without letting them define our policies. And that's why when a Western superpower tries to isolate a nation, India asks is this in the interest of the world or just the interest of one power? That's the courage of conviction. That's the new Indian DNA, is we no longer fear the power game. We are not desperate to be included at someone else's table. We are building our own table. And trust me, those who once ignored India now wait for India to speak. Why? Because India speaks from moral clarity, not military dominance. From economic logic, not economic bullying. From cultural wisdom, not colonial residue. This is the soft power of India. Our movies, our yoga is our food. Our music, our language. They have traveled the world without firing a bullet. And now our ideas are doing the same. Here's the idea that the global south must rise together. The idea that technology must empower, not enslave. Here's the idea that partnerships must be horizontal, not vertical. India is not imposing these ideas. We are living them. And if you are an Indian youth today, this is your greatest moment. But not just the child of a rising nation. You're the architect of it. You must not just consume information, you must question it. You not just chase trends, you must create them. You must not look for shortcuts. You must hood the road itself. And there's not just new. How lepes but with those who own ready tools, who own lepony and story and control perception. You control this whole control perception and you shape reality. That's why India's story must be told in our own voice. Not borrowed accents. Not filtered through Western think tanks, but raw, real, powerful, just like our journey. This is your task. Now to tell India's story, to live it, to build it. To prove that a civilization that has lasted thousands of years will not only survive the 21st century, it will lead it. And leadership doesn't begin in government. It begins in your mindset. The mindset that says I will not compromise my dignity for comfort.